Hello, this is Ross with another movie review, and today we're going to be doing the Next Generation movie set on Blu-ray, and it's got four movies in here that are from the Next Generation. Okay, and let's go through each one. All right. Back in 1994, they had an idea for Star Trek. What if they could make a big event movie with two of the captains from the existing series coming together as one? And that was James T. Kirk and Captain Jean-Luc Picard put in both the same movie, and they would work around the storyline around that and stuff like that. Well, what we got was Star Trek Generations, and this movie had a very, very high anticipation level. A lot of people were looking forward to it, and a lot of people had very, very, very high expectations for this movie. Me, I actually like it. I actually think it's one of the better movies in the series. I would venture to say it's probably my second best movie in the series. And it's actually a lot of fun, but a lot of people they weren't very happy with it. And the movie starts out with the Enterprise B, and Kirk gets into a mission that they have to go on to save a couple of ships from an alien entity called the Nexus. And what it does is basically it creates an environment of anything you could basically think of. Anything that is in your thoughts, it basically it happens in the Nexus. So that's what the Nexus is. And James T. Kirk got into an accident in the ship and basically was killed on the Enterprise B when it was inside the Nexus. Okay, so then you travel into the future. Okay, and you have the Next Generation crew and their first appearance in a movie trying to investigate a space station that has been under attack. And what happens is they find out that the Klingons may have been behind it. So what happens is that they find a guy on an abandoned ship, okay, and he comes in the future as well, and he is kind of trying to do whatever he can, however he can, to get back into the Nexus, and it is, it's a good fun movie. There's a lot of action in it, pretty awesome crash scene. It's pretty cool. Alright, so that ends Star Trek The Next Generation. Generations, it looks pretty good. It looks fairly good. Alright, now we get to Star Trek First Contact, which I think is pretty much the gem of this series right here. And that has to deal with their old enemy, the Next Generation enemy, called that was called the Borg. And the Borg was basically, they've had a lot of run-ins with the Borg, and their run-ins usually, they went well, but they usually were fairly unprepared for it. So this time, they know what to expect because Captain Jean-Luc Picard had been taken over by the Borg, and they know what to expect. Well, the Borg takes the newly christened Enterprise E into the past because they have taken over the Earth and are wanting to stop first contact with the Vulcans, which must happen in the Star Trek universe. It must happen. It has to happen. Otherwise, everything you see in the Star Trek universe will never happen. So that's why they have to go back and stop the Borg from stopping first contact. You know, they have to make it. They have to stop the Borg from destroying first contact. And it's a very good movie. It's very fun. It has all the fun things that Star Trek should have. It's a very good movie. It's a very watchable movie. And it's a lot of fun. A lot of action. A lot of good parts to it. Very fun movie. Looks great on Blu-ray. These are the latest movies, so they look great on Blu-ray, okay? Now we have Star Trek Insurrection, which is, it's a movie. In short, it's basically about an alien race, that two alien races that are in an interplanetary war with each other, that are basically trying to vie for, one has the ability, lives on a planet with the ability to basically slow down time. And the other one has a lot of technology, is more advanced, and is very powerful, and they want to see these people, you know, they want to get that power at any cost, even if it means destroying this alien race on that planet. Well, it's up to the Next Generation crew to stop that from happening. So basically, the crew of the Enterprise and Jean-Luc Picard must risk everything to be able to save these people from this alien race, to stop this from happening, you know. And that looks good too. It's not that bad of a movie, although it's the weakest one, I think, out of the whole entire set, okay? And it looks pretty good. It looks fairly good. These all look good. Now we get to Star Trek Nemesis, which is the very last movie of the Next Generation. Last of the entire series, last of the entire crew. Alright, Nemesis is about a rogue Romulan who is basically trying to create genocide for the Romulan Empire because he feels that he has been betrayed by the Romulans, and he is dying, and basically he has this insanely massive ship that is basically it's a rogue Romulan vessel that is a warbird, and it is massive. I mean, it's huge. And he has a secret weapon that he's threatening to use on the Romulan Empire if basically he cannot do what he needs to get done. So if he has a backup plan where he has a radiation weapon that will be able to destroy everything on any planet that he desires. It's up to the Next Generation crew to stop this rogue Romulan before he destroys the planet, or before he endangers the entire crew of the Enterprise. And the movie was ambitious, and it was good. There was some really sweet parts to it and stuff like that. It was a very, very good, it was a very, very fun movie. It was fun to watch. You know, all these movies are fun to watch, but I'd have to say that Insurrection's probably the weakest. And then you have a disc that kind of commemorates the power of Star Trek and the fan base of the Star Trek, so you get that as well. And while this set is not as good as the set with the original series, they're a lot of fun to watch, and I think that they're very fun to watch. And they're a very likable crew. And Captain Jean-Luc Picard, he is one of the best captains in Starfleet. So, if you have the first Blu-ray set, you should definitely get the Next Generation set. Okay, so that is all for now, and thank you for watching. You have a good holiday.